Hi, I'm Chantel Cohen, and today's topic is 12 reasons why your husband or boyfriend has low sex drive. Number one is stress. I mean, guys, we know this already. Stress is a mother. Stress, it causes heart attacks. It causes us to experience anxiety. Stress takes its toll on us and our bodies, and it also takes its toll on our libido. If we're stressed out, think about it, that intimacy, sexual intimacy is pleasurable and relaxing, etc. And being stressed out is the opposite of that. It is hard to feel amorous and loving and in the mood when you're stressed. Number two, those men who work shifts at night and they're staying up all night, maybe they're working on an assembly line or maybe they're a doctor, those guys are more likely to suffer from low sex drive. Baylor University did a study and they correlated shift work, meaning working at night, to low sex drive. So unfortunately, guys, I don't know what to tell you to do about that. I don't know if you want to petition to your bosses, but I tell you, it is definitely going to cramp your style in the bedroom. Number three is he's probably seeing somebody else. That could be the case. It's interesting, you know, many of you know I see couples, and you get two things oftentimes when there's infidelity. Either the sex drive really ramps up or it lowers completely and it's non-existent. So if you notice a change, you know, I'm not saying that, obviously there are 12 reasons and this is just one reason. So ladies, don't start, you know, going through his emails and phone, but do talk to him about your concern. Number four, zinc, guys. Supplements are so important, but this is one that's kind of a little known secret, that zinc is tied to low sexual drive. And what's interesting is, you know how you've always heard that like oysters are an aphrodisiac? Well, they have high zinc levels. It's so funny. Like, I always think, how did these people know all this? They didn't have scientific data, you know, 100 years ago that talked about this, but somehow someone figured it out. But there's also, if you don't like oysters, no worries. You can also have spinach, nuts, and also beef. So getting your man on a zinc supplement, or for the guys who are watching, take a zinc supplement. It will help. Number five is strenuous exercise. We always hear how exercise is so good for us, right? It's so great for the heart. You know, it controls weight, diabetes, all this. I'm not talking about those folks who are doing moderate exercise. I'm talking about you marathon runners or you ultra marathon runners who are running 100 miles or Ironman folks, that it has been correlated with low sex drive. Now, what I will tell you is that it just makes sense. You're tired. You've been using your body. You're using your body in a very physical way that you're not going to have a lot of gas in the tank, if you know what I mean, for performance in the bedroom. Number six, this is a no-brainer. Again, not getting enough sleep. So we know that we need sleep. And oftentimes it's on short supply. Like people are saying, oh, I gotta work, I gotta do this. I have so many things to do. I was one of those people, definitely, many years ago who thought, you know what, I just won't sleep as much. Well, that takes its toll. And it takes its toll on the brain, but it also takes its toll on your junk. So definitely make sure you're getting enough sleep if you want to perform in the bedroom. Number seven, You guys have heard me talk about this one. I could go on about this one for at least 15 minutes, but I won't. Watching too much porn. You notice I said too much. You know what? For those guys who are watching it once a week, no big deal. But once that porn or that act that they're seeing on the screen gets attached to arousal, that's it. It's like almost like classical conditioning. And so now your man is not getting aroused. You put on your lingerie, you think you're looking good. Well, he's now, arousal is tied to what he's seeing in porn. And let's face it, most women, you know, they don't do what porn stars do. And even the porn stars, they're faking it, guys. So cut down on your porn use. Next is addicted to his phone. Got mine right here, and I can tell you that this is a, I don't want to use the C word, a C blocker every time. It will, I mean, your attention's not there. How can you get in the mood when you're not feeling it? When you're focused on what's happening in the news or watching something on your phone on YouTube? Your attention is someplace else. So believe it or not, phones, I always tell people to, you know, not keep your phone by your bed. And if you do, if you use it for your alarm clock, don't get in the habit of looking at it before you go to bed. Not only does it stimulate wakefulness, but it also messes with your libido because your attention is somewhere else. Number 9 is one that definitely causes a lot of problems, erectile dysfunction, or otherwise known as ED. ED is oftentimes, it can be physical, but it can also, you know, it could mean he has low testosterone, for instance, or it can be something psychological such as anxiety and worried about performance. I was recently telling a friend of mine that I equate it to years ago when, 20 years ago when I was getting my master's at Columbia. I literally got all of my syllabi for a week, and I was walking on West 69th Street. For those of you who don't know, Columbia is in New York City in Manhattan. And I was walking home, and I was just thinking over and over again about, oh my God, how am I going to get all this done in one semester? It's not possible. And so I started, you know, started having shortness of breath, and I had a little panic attack because I was so anxious. But get this, guys, I literally, after I had the panic attack days later, when I started getting anxious about all the work, I was scared that I was going to have another. And in fact, I did. But I haven't had another panic attack since 20 years ago. I had those two, but for a few months I lived in fear of having another one. And so that's what it's like for guys. Once it happens once or twice, they live in fear of it happening again. And so they're ruminating and having all these thoughts. And let's just face it, guys, it's tied to masculinity, and men start getting in their head about their own prowess, their own ability, and it can do a number on guys. So ED is no joke. It is sometimes physical, like low testosterone, but sometimes it's just good old-fashioned anxiety. And you can couple that with the first one, with stress. It's hard to get arousal going when you feel stressed about your own performance. Number 10. Not enough variety in the bedroom. Are you doing the same things over and over again, and it's just become kind of a yawn? That boredom can be a real issue. That he may not be as interested because he's bored. Or you've told him all the things that you're not going to do, and so you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You know, there's this, I think it's called syphilis, was this I don't know if Sisyphus was a Greek god, but I know that he was punished in some way. And his punishment was to roll the ball up a hill. And every time it would roll back down. So it was almost like purgatory or hell. He would roll it back up and it would roll back down. Well, sometimes that's what sex is like when it's monotonous. It's boring. And so that may be an indicator that you need to spice things up in the bedroom. Number 11, depression. In men, it looks different than it does in women. Women, it's more crying, isolating, looking sad. Whereas in men, you may see more anger and irritability, but also a lack of interest in sex. So being able to, obviously you need to get to a therapist, but if there's been something that's happened in your life and you're not feeling like having sex, or you notice that your partner doesn't feel like having sex when his libido was much higher, oftentimes it can be associated with depression. And that's really important to look at. And lastly, this is not going to be a happy one. This is number 12. If you have a big belly, the larger the belly, the less your little guy's going to work. Because it's all about blood flow. And I want you to think about that if it impacts your heart, having a big stomach, think what it does to your best friend. He's not going to work. Or maybe he's still working, but there's not enough blood flow there. So know that that could impact a lot. I mean, a lot of people don't think about it, or some people just take Viagra to get over the hump. But ladies, this can happen. So if your man has too much around the middle, or if you're a guy who's watching this, it's time to lose those extra lbs, because it not only is it impacting your heart, but it's going to impact your performance in the bedroom. I just want to reiterate, there are some things that you can do, and I just want you to think about it in aggregate, kind of in total. Reduce your stress. These are all the things that we hear about having a good, healthy lifestyle. The same things are true in order to have a good libido or strong libido in bed. Reduce your stress. Change your diet. Don't eat a diet of junk food. Increases that belly and makes it so that you can't perform in the bedroom. Eat well so that you're getting lots of zinc. Getting zinc from nuts or spinach. Also, getting enough sleep is so important. Again, don't have brain fog. It is hard to be amorous when you're tired. Take your supplements. If you're a vegetarian and you know you're not getting enough zinc, go ahead and take a zinc supplement. You can also eat seaweed too. That also helps. And seaweed has iodine in it as well. And make sure that your exercise is moderate. That if you're training for that Ironman, let your woman know that you may be a little fatigued. So I'm not saying not to challenge yourself, but if you're a person who's constantly, exercising, a friend of mine, it's kind of funny, pointed out that why is it that athletes always seem to have all the ladies? I don't know, guys. We don't know what's going on in the bedroom, but we know basketball is stop and start, and that it's strenuous, but they've also been doing it for years, and it's something where they have plenty of time to rest. When you're a marathon runner, when you're running those 26 miles, you're not getting any rest. And spice it up in the bedroom. Do something different. Try something new. Lower your porn use. And lastly, seek a couples therapist or see a physician if you've got some ED issues. That may help. I would always start with the physician and then go to the therapist. I'm not trying to not get business, but I always like to rule out something physical like low T or some sort of physical issue that's happening in the body. Make sure that if it is psychological, that you seek a couples therapist who knows what they're doing. I want to speak directly to the ladies. Be patient with your partner or your husband. This is such a sensitive topic that many men are often embarrassed, and they go years without ever talking about it. I mean, it is a subject that carries such deep shame, and oftentimes, as you guys know, I see lots of couples, and I see women sometimes in session say, oh, well, you know, I don't think you're attracted to me. I'm constantly feeling this rejection and anger and frustration. And what that does is it just contributes to your partner's overall shame and embarrassment. I guarantee you guys that men are not talking about this with other men, because it's so deeply tied to their manhood, their masculinity, what it means to be a man. And so all I ask is that if you're going to try any of the things to, you know, the habits to help him get more sleep or give him zinc, that you talk about this with him with the notion that I want to help my partner through this. Not, hey, I want to get some, but I want to help my partner through this and to keep his dignity through this. So that's just my little caveat. I think it's important. I think we all want respect and dignity, and this is such a hard topic. I'm Chantel Cohen. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and also on Instagram. I'm Chantel Cohen, and I help couples become one again.